The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision. Today's guest and their company are not affiliated with or endorsed by LPL Financial. I don't know your entire name, so I know Arlene, but I don't know full name.
It's Arlene Kasselman.
Kasselman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very nice. How long have you been in Abilene?
This time, 14 years.
Okay.
Yes.
What was the first time?
My husband and I came to college at ACU.
Oh, really?
From South Africa.
Wow.
Yeah, we'd been married for 5 years, didn't have any kids, had a change of career, came to school here.
Okay. What brought you to ACU? There's a couple other colleges in the country.
Yeah, there's a few. We had grown up in a Church of Christ tradition.
Okay.
And so we had been used to having like summer interns and students come and do like mission trips.
Sure.
And met several people from ACU.
Okay.
And as international students, when you're scrolling, AB comes up right at the top of
Sure.
colleges.
Okay.
And we applied several places, but ACU at the time gave us the best financial package.
Really?
And he wanted to go into ministry after being in financial planning, and so
wow,
it was a good fit for us.
So what was the split after you had left Abilene after
we
finishing
lived? We worked in Coppell, in the Dallas area.
Yeah.
And then in Amarillo for a number of years, like 12.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And then decided to come on back.
Back to Abilene. We had a good friend who owns a large landscape company here, and they were wanting someone to do like internal operations. And he had moved into executive ministry in a large church with a multi-staff and that kind of stuff. So was sort of really up on the operational side of an organization. And so, they brought him down here to work, and then a handful of years later, he opened a brewery.
Right.
So here we are.
As one typically does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that, of course, being Grain Theory.
Mm-hmm.
How many years has that been in business?
Opened in December of 2020.
Okay. The right time to get into
forget.
business.
It was meant to be opening in March of 2020.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
And when did you open your business?
This September will be 4 years.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's gone so fast.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
What made you want to open a bookstore?
I'd said multiple times, oh, I'd love to have a bookstore. I'd love to have a coffee shop. I'd love to have a tea room. It was like a vibe thing I was going for that I always wanted. I have always been pretty entrepreneurial. More than one time sold items from my house growing up to random strangers in the neighborhood, and my mom would have to make me go back and give them their money back and get our goods back. It's just kind of been in my blood, and ideation is very high for me. Okay. I've got more ideas than I could ever live out. It said I wanted a bookstore. My son was doing an internship in New York, and he was working in two very hard boroughs with immigrant families and refugee families, and living in Queens. And so about twice a week he would go into the city, and he had a bookstore that he would go that had a coffee shop, and he would go and write there and reflect on stuff. And I went to see him one weekend, and we were sitting at that bookstore, and I said, oh, I want a bookstore, which he'd heard his whole life. Sure. I want to open a bookstore. And he said to me, you've said that so many times, go and open a bookstore. And that was in 21, the summer of 21. I looked at him and I was like, I don't know how. I worked in student advocacy, higher education at ACU. I can help you with mental health stuff. Like, I don't know how to do this, and I don't have the money to do it. And he said, go talk to the bank and go and learn. And it was like the most direct, simple conversation.
Right.
And I came back and I said to David, I think I want to open a bookstore downtown. Yeah. It was, Grain Theory was up and going. The boutiques had just opened underneath them. And my sense was somebody was going to open an indie bookstore downtown.
Gotcha.
Because most little towns you go to, they've got a thriving downtown. They've got a bookstore, coffee shop, restaurants. Yeah. And I was like, we need one. And if someone's going to do it, I want it to be me. So, yeah.
Wow. So where did you start with learning how to do it? Where did you where did you find out that stuff?
Yeah, I found a bookstore that I love in Edmond, Oklahoma.
Okay.
And I had been to the bookstore. It was the vibe I was looking for. So I called them and said, hey, this is what I want to do in Texas. I'm 4.5 hours from you. Could I just come and shadow? And they were like, absolutely, come and learn. And so I went and spent time with them.
Wow.
Watched, learned. There's training that you can do through the American Booksellers Association. So I did some of that too.
Okay.
And started asking questions, joining groups online. At the time, there was a guy who was living here. His name was Kester Smith, and he'd been here for several years. But he had worked for Book People in Austin, which is a massive indie bookstore, for probably 10 years. Right. And had always held the dream of opening a bookstore in Abilene. He was more on the book end of it and didn't want to deal with the business side of it. And so it was just like, I'd love to open a bookstore. I don't want to do that part. So that never came to fruition. But he was in Abilene still, and him and his family were moving back to Austin. His son had gone off to college. And for about 8 months, when I opened, he was still here. And he wasn't working full time. And he really, really helped me open the doors and just helped me curate book selections, learn how to do that. So yeah, it was with a little help from my friends.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What I've kind of found time and time again is just like anytime that you don't know anything in business, there's just a line of people who are very open and who 100%. Will like line up to help you and just really. I mean, I've always been shocked by it. I mean, some of the best conversations I've ever had in my industry have all been with people who are technically my competition.
Right.
And it's very much of like, hey, I'd love to bounce ideas off of you. I'd love to have lunch with you and kind of like, what do you think about these things? And it's amazing. Yeah. Are you glad that he didn't say that about a coffee shop whenever you're just like, man, I wish I had a...
Let me tell you, I am so glad. It is still a romantic idea somewhere in the back of my head where I also wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and make all the pastries and stuff. It's never going to happen.
Right. It's a really fun thing to think about.
It's a lovely thing to think about that I would never do.
Right.
So there's that.
Whenever I was looking to get out of education and get into business, I kind of had floated a lot of ideas over the years. My wife was like, all of the things that you love have the worst schedule for us having kids or a life together. She's like, I just want to get up at like 3 a.m. and just really work on pastries. It's like, and I'll go to bed with the 2-year-old at the same time, to be able to do that.
Yes.
So downtown locations are different. I mean, just functionally, versus any other business in Abilene. Foot traffic's different, neighbors are different. What have you liked or noticed, or what's been kind of clue us in on what it's like to be a business like yours downtown?
For me, being downtown was going to be the deal breaker. I could not,
Really?
It was either downtown or no store for me.
Wow, okay.
I had no interest in being in a mall, in a strip center, somewhere else. I think the charm of a downtown is all of the fun, quirky stores. And the other part that I love about owning a bookstore is all the client interaction all day. You get to talk to people. And the foot traffic we get, besides our customers who come and drive downtown park and come into the store, are visitors from other towns and cities and countries. And we have tourists every single day in Abilene. It's wild to me. I love it. And they walk downtown. And so that was like my big thing. I would wait for a space if I needed to. And I said that multiple times. It was either downtown or I wasn't going to do it. I love the vibe of downtown. The business owners downtown are an incredible community. There's so much collaboration. The downtown is growing. All the beautification projects make it a fabulous place to hang out. Saturdays out, just seeing people wake up early, go to the farmer's market, pick one of the 5 coffee shops, literally, that you can walk to, and then just wander around downtown is one of my favorite things.
Wow.
So yeah, I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So as downtown's been changing around you, how has that been affecting you? Has that been something that you've been seeing a difference in the last few years?
I have high capacity for change just as a human and as a personality trait. So it is easy for me to embrace like, oh, this is changing downtown. Oh, we have to be uncomfortable for 6 months while we get a road done or whatever. that kind of thing doesn't stress me out because I love growth and change. And there's a book that came out several years ago that talks about the death of the American city. And some of that rises and falls on how much your downtown flourishes. Yeah. And if you sort of study city economics and traffic patterns, and a thriving downtown makes all the difference in tourism and all those kinds of things. Yeah. So I think it just benefits us. When it looks good downtown, people want to come downtown. If there's a perceived walkable space, your visitors are not going to go and just sit in a hotel room. They're going to walk downtown. They're going to go grab a coffee. They're going to see what other little fun things there are to look at. And people spend money.
Yeah.
So it's been very beneficial to us. And I think it's only going to be more, because Cypress Street is almost every day. When I look at the park and I look at just all the improvements, I'm like, yeah, this is the goal right here.
Yeah, it's a unique aspect where, I mean, there's no other area in town that this city is trying to do all the marketing for you, essentially. Like, I mean, they're actively trying to make your area better. They're trying to drive more people to it. They're trying to drive more events to you and your businesses. I mean, it's huge.
In some ways.
Okay.
Honestly, I think the city is spread thin with the resources it has, and it's doing a good job. But it's the businesses themselves that are driving events.
Really?
You know, like Grain Theory, I think, and not because my husband's involved, but it's changed the landscape of downtown. When they have 3 or 4 big block parties every year, and they're closing streets and having vendors and music, and people are out there, and there are thousands of people that are coming downtown, you begin to feel like, oh, I live in a place that feels sustainable, and I don't have to drive to Austin or Dallas to do something fun.
Right.
But that is all, you know, when we have events, when any of the boutiques do events, when we're doing like little passports, shop around, that's all business driven. That's not the city doing that for us. And so while the improvement projects are the city, I really think it's on the small businesses themselves who have rallied together to collaborate and make the events that happen.
That's awesome.
Which is pretty great.
Very nice. We've had some changes to downtown and really the north side of town when it comes to literature and access to literature. So very much of one of the most exciting things that's probably happened at Abilene in the last 10 years was the moving and the new main public library.
Yeah.
Right, a beautiful space, everything. But that now puts it south of the tracks, and we really don't have very many options for books and literature on the north side. How do you think that that's going to shift things, or will you notice as much in your business?
I really don't think it will. I think anytime you have more reading, everybody benefits. And I think having a library space like we now have is kind of mind-blowing for Abilene. And I think if you have the ability to drive yourself from North 10th to South 1st, it's not that hard.
Right.
I live in Heritage Parks, far north side, behind Chick-fil-A, Walmart, all that. And I drive downtown every single day. And I think it takes me 14 minutes.
Right.
And so I think to get to Heritage Square with everything that it offers is really it's worth it, and it's opened up what library services can offer. Yeah. It's pretty outstanding. I would love there to be a small library outpost, maybe somewhere in a community where people don't have the privilege of transportation. I don't know where that would be or how that would function, but I am thankful for really good school libraries in most of those communities. Yeah. So there's that, and then I know there are some projects at some of the rec centers where they're bringing in reading rooms, which is great as well. But I can't believe we have this library.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing.
So great.
Yeah. What has been your experience with kind of getting to know Abilene's relationship with reading and literature? How have you come to think about the way that Abilene relates to those things?
I know we throw around the Storybook Capital of America phrase a lot, but I think it has helped shape so much of the identity and culture. Because if I think of my store, and Caddy Corner to me is Texas Star, and while they're primarily a Texas gift shop, They are the specialists in local authors and Texas authors. And we picked specifically to not be heavy on those two genres because Texas Star is. And you can literally walk 25 paces from my door to their door. Around the corner, if you just keep walking, you can hit the Grace, and the Grace has got a little museum shop, and they've got some beautiful quality museum books. And if you just keep going and hit the Nickel, then you've got the Nickel's Children's Bookstore. It used to be that the library would be there, and then you'd come back full circle to me. And now you've got the library 3 minutes from the Nickel, Right. And so the level of dedication to having books is amazing. The quality of our librarians in our school district is fantastic. I wish there were more. I wish there was funding for more qualified librarians and not a librarian that's over multiple schools that has, library aides, because that's hard on everybody. Mm-hmm. But we have librarians that are true book people. I think arts and literacy are huge in this community. And I'm always surprised when people don't take advantage of like the Nickel.
Right.
Like this is literally a national treasure.
Yeah.
That we have this, and it's right here. And there's funding and programs and authors coming in and illustrators coming in, and not just for the festival, all year.
Right.
And that is, let me just stop and say, that is without considering that we're also able to support a Barnes & Noble, a Books A Million, Sam's, Target, Walmart, who are selling books as well, mm-hmm. Porta Blue, which is a used bookstore, gently used, and Book Therapy, which is used, in this little town.
Right.
Which is wild. And I think having multiple university campuses helps.
Sure.
Between learners and teachers from TSTC, Cisco, all of the Texas Tech outlets, the 3 big 4-year colleges. I'm not saying you think Abilene, you think some intellectual haven in the Northeast, but we have a bunch of readers in this city.
Yes.
And I get to meet most of them.
Sure.
It's great.
Yeah, I'm reminded of that in really strange times. I think I was getting ready for a jiu-jitsu class the other day, and someone brought up a book, and I want to say the next 15 minutes was just literally everyone going on about mm-hmm. everything they're reading right now. I was like, yep. You guys are reading? I was pleasantly impressed. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, this is actually awesome. It was really fun, and it was just kind of one of those. And
it's amazing. Yeah. Instagram and TikTok have helped tremendously, because
I would imagine
Book Talk and Bookstagram, people are pushing out book recommendations all the time.
Yeah.
And that's gotten certainly Gen Z reading a lot. And their big push is for the analog activity bag. I see it with a bunch of my booksellers and just friends. They will carry a tote bag, and it's all their analog activities. Word searches, crochet, all their granny crafts, books, so that they're not doom scrolling all the time.
Right.
It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. I would also go ahead and say a lot of our programs that we're doing around literature mm-hmm. is very much things that we'll see the downstream effects of.
Oh, yes.
I mean, just even like you're saying, the CAF Festival, of one thing that we do, the amount of people that come into mm-hmm. Abilene from surrounding areas mm-hmm. who don't have any access to anything like that.
Right.
And those kids are going to grow up, and
mm-hmm.
they're going to go through those universities. They're going to have these amazing things that are going to have a lot of outpouring and some incredible things in the future.
And even, Abilene kids, one of my favorite things is they truly think they are friends with like Sophie Blackhall and Leywin Pham sure. and Brian Lies right. or whatever, because they met them.
Right.
And they did the illustration night with them at the Paramount, and they signed a book, and they said their name, and they got a picture with. Right. It's a whole generation of kids who have grown up so comfortable with books, bookstores, literacy, authors, illustrators, and I think it makes them think, oh, I can do that too. So I think we're going to have writers.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
One pivotal moment in my education was literally when I was at Hardin-Simmons and I was in the creative writing program. Mm-hmm. We had Pulitzer Prize winning Paul Harding came in. And everyone in my class got to have dinner with him, pick his brain before his reading, and we spent an entire afternoon with this guy who, on his very first novel, wins this incredible prize. Yeah, it was a life changing
Yeah.
kind of moment. And I mean, we definitely gave our professor a ribbing for the rest of the year. Like, oh, Father Paul was saying
Yeah,
this.
that's so
Any advice that
funny.
he ever had was like, oh, but Paul said it best.
Yeah.
But I mean, just like the opportunities that you can have somewhere that no one expects it.
Right.
And yeah, it's incredible. What is differentiating your shop versus a lot of those other options that you said?
So we keep only new books. We don't deal in used books. Somehow Google will not believe me.
Trust me.
It's very frustrating for customers who come in wanting used books, and they say, but Google said, and I'm like, I know.
Yes.
So
Google says a lot of things.
It does say a lot of things. New books across a little bit of every genre. We're not big enough to be able to have dedicated, oh, this is my horror section, this is my mystery section. But I have a general fiction section, and in there will be family saga, horror, mystery, cutesy, cozy, the whole thing. And I think we sell, the surprise category is classics. The number of classics we sell is shocking. And I don't think it's all of a sudden because everybody is reading Jane Eyre.
Sure.
I think they're so beautiful.
Right. Everyone has to have the most beautiful version of their classic.
It's like trophies on your bookshelf.
Yeah.
And a lot of people decorate with books.
Right.
And a lot of people are collecting. So say if Little Women is that person's choice, now there's 12 different types of cover options you could have or whatever. So we do sell a ton of classics. We sell quite a bit in the contemporary romance, contemporary fantasy, because a lot of that is what you see in social media.
Sure.
And we have a lot of dragon lovers. And so a lot of romance, fantasy. My jam specifically is general fiction. We probably sell a little more gen fiction than we do anything else, but right below it, or maybe equal to it, would be contemporary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you were kind of talking earlier about curating kind of groups. What goes into that?
Yeah, it's interesting. Some of it is we get to talk with publisher reps a couple times a year. These are the books that are going to be coming out from September to December. Have your eye on these or whatever. So we're getting information that way. We're getting information from publisher catalogs, just reading a lot of resource material about what's coming out, keeping an eye on what's trending. We report to the New York Times and the American booksellers every weekend. I do that every Saturday night. So keeping an eye on what's selling in other places, and then stripping it all away and going, okay, nationally, these 10 books are ranking in the top 10. And I've noticed that in Abilene, we're selling 6 of those. But these other 4 I can't get to move. And then just making the selections. It's almost like you train your own instinctual algorithm of going, I love Ellen Hildebrand, for instance. She writes about the Northeast, summers on Nantucket, and huge author around the country. I have a handful of customers that will buy her books, and that's it.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, this makes no sense when I compare it to national trends.
Right.
Or one of the big book clubs, Jenna Bush, Reese Witherspoon, Oprah, whatever, will announce a book. And some of those will hit in Abilene like crazy, and then some nothing. Really? And you start to begin to figure out, oh, I don't think this is going to be an Abilene book. Gotcha. And I wish I had a 5-point thing I could say, this is why I feel that.
Right.
I don't know what that is, except I look at the cover, I get a general idea, and then most of the time we're right, and then other times we're way off. Yeah. And we'll think, oh, this book is going to fly here. Nope. Or the other way around. And then we got to order in quickly.
Wow.
And then sometimes it's, a good example recently would be Theo of Golden. This book came out several years ago. I don't know how it broke through about a year ago. Something happened, and it started trending.
Really? And
it was self-published, first-time novel, older author, and then Simon & Schuster bought it, and there's an audiobook, and it's been like #1 for a couple of months now. Really? Like I ordered 10 at a time.
Yeah.
I cannot keep them on the shelves. And you're like, something happened, and then this person tells, and then this book club reads it, and this book club reads it, then everybody's reading the same book. It's wild.
There's such a cultural phenomenon when it comes to books and like ideas, and so it's always very interesting of like the lag, or essentially of just like, hey, and also these were thoughts of an author 5 to 10 years ago, and then have, like, I don't know, it's just it's a very interesting study.
And there's some that it doesn't matter what they write.
Right.
If Brandon Sanderson has written a new book, those epic high fantasy readers, they're buying his book. It's going to be good quality.
Yeah.
He's a great writer. If Ann Patchett brings out a book, it's generally going to be good. So there's some where the readers have developed such trust in the author that they're willing to risk it.
Interesting. Did you notice more of a difference, or as a lot more of these options in town had become, Barnes & Noble moving in, having a little bit more of an active used book market? What have you noticed with either traffic in your store, trends? What are you thinking of it?
I was anxious when I first heard about Barnes coming, because I was like, oh, okay, I've had the corner on this for a little bit.
Right.
It didn't last long for me. One of our customers actually is the one who said, they're not your competition. Barnes & Noble and Books A Million are going to duke it out.
Right.
You can't compare a downtown small indie bookstore to Barnes & Noble. I don't have the space, I don't have the funding, I don't have the ability to carry what they carry.
Right.
So
you don't have your own e-reader.
I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
And besides books, a huge part of our mission, and one of the reasons my store icons are the chair, the cup, the candle, and the book, is I'm in this to create a third space for people. So they can come into the store, make a cup of complimentary hot tea and sit and read, or just be there and hang out. And we've got study tables in the back room where students come and hang out. And the events that we do and the authors we bring in and the conversations we host and the book clubs we have are all about putting flesh on the business and saying this is about community, and it's about us being a safe place. It's about us being a place of representation. And so we're both slinging books, but I think that's not really what I'm selling. I'm selling this idea that we can gather around books, and we try to do that in multiple ways. So that feels different to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a huge ask. Anytime I'm hiring someone, I say to them, the ask that we are putting out there in the world is to say to someone, will you get off of your couch, drive downtown and park, come into the store, buy a book that's the price that the publishers put on the book that I'm held to, and if it's not on my shelf, wait the few days it takes for me to order it in for you, then I'll text you and come get it. Instead of them sitting on their couch, on their app, and just ordering it from Amazon. And so what's going to make people keep doing that? First of all, in Abilene, there's a huge shop local, support local vibe, which I love.
Absolutely.
That's who our people are. But secondly, they realize that when they come in, they talk to a bookseller. And you may come in and say, hey, I just finished the Red Rising series and I need another book series. And one of us can find that for you and suggest it and put 3 books in your hand and say, take a seat, look at the covers of these, see if any of these are the right book for you. So it's not just retail associates. We have book lovers. I have multiple who are teachers, English teachers that work a shift or 2 a week. Mm-hmm. And the thing we can offer is service. It's come in, we'll make you a cup of tea. Do you need a water bottle? I'm going to dinner at a customer's house tonight. One of my older customers who had a fall, had some surgery, found out about it. He's a widower. I'd taken him meals for a week months ago, and he messaged and said he'd love David and I to come and have dinner with him tonight. And I was like, it's that community thing.
Which I'm imagining really ties into what you were trying to create.
Exactly.
And what you were thinking about all those years when you were like, hey, I really want a feel for a place and a relationship with a place. So I kind of want to get kind of a little bit more, because I got to see that you go into schools. So can you tell me a little bit about some of the things that you do for kind of kids around Abilene and the school systems?
Yeah, so we have been invited to do book fairs at a couple of elementary schools, which is so fun. It's always an undertaking because we are not scholastic. We cannot come with a massive truck and unfold a whole bunch of metal shelves and have a book fair. So it's sort of curating things that we think are good value but high quality. And so book fairs, super fun. I have spent a lot of time going to different schools where teachers have invited me to just come and talk about books or do First Chapter Friday reading to their fifth graders or whatever the case is. Those are always super fun. And we try to be as supportive of teachers as possible for all of the back to school teacher events and that kind of thing. During the summer, I offer a upper elementary book club and then a middle grade book club that I run myself, and love getting to do that with kids and really get them thinking about what they're reading and the implications of that. So in terms of kids, we partner with the Nickel for some events. We are a location during the festival. But yeah, those are the kinds of things we do for kids. I try really hard to get to know our kid customers because they're hilarious and they will tell their friends. I've got one specifically who every time the mom looks at a book at Target, she goes, "Mom, we only buy it 7 in 1." And I'm like, so great.
It's incredible for business.
She will not be moved. And so those are the kinds of things we do, like with schools. Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, I think book fair, for me growing up, Scholastic Book Fair was
amazing.
I know. It was incredible.
It's so great.
And I loved waiting that 17 years for that book to come in, because it was like one in the catalog that you ordered. I was like, oh, great. I'm glad that this book of Garfield comics finally came in. There was no other way to get this book.
So fun.
It was the absolute best. So when my son had his first book fair, I was like, oh, I can't wait to go.
Yeah.
And it was really cool that you were there. And also, when I walked out of there, I did not feel like I had been robbed at gunpoint. And I was like, I called my wife after. I was like, I think I spent like $20. Like, that was not what I was expecting to happen. And so, yeah, no, it was absolutely incredible. And he loved it. He loves his books. It was it was a huge highlight for him.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah. Well, what kind of things are you doing with the CAF Festival this year? We
are hosting the sessions for it may be like 12 through 15.
Okay.
They're offering, I think this is the third year, for older siblings who come. And the librarian from Abilene High, Kate Stover, and the one from Cooper, Caitlin Gensick, are offering those sessions at the bookstore. So it'll be a smaller group, obviously, just probably 15 or so. They are going to do some like personality tests that'll rank them into like Piglet, Pooh, Eeyore. It's so fun. They'll take the same theme.
Yeah.
And then they will also, I think, do some sessions where they're talking about writing prompts and what does it look like to break down some of this lit, and just a really good offering for older kids. So that'll all be housed at the bookstore.
That's really
and then we just become a place where people can dash in and get some air conditioning, use the restroom.
Yes.
Lots of book buying of other books.
Right.
I think people are so in the celebrating spirit when they're here for CAF that I think sometimes the parents like to be able to drop into, and maybe mom picks up a book for herself while she's pounding the streets in the heat.
Yeah. There's certain aspects of, a book stack. It just looks even better when there's like 5 or 6 on there. It's like, might as well go ahead, throw it in there. Everyone's reading. Everyone is going to be reading when we get home. That's awesome. Kind of wrapping up kind of questions, just like, you're obviously a small business owner in Abilene. What would be something that you would change or hope to be seeing that, helps you in your business here in town?
I think one of the things I've noticed is in any city, you get people that are downtown people and people that never go to their downtown. I was raised in a family and have raised a family of downtown people. If we visit any town, I always check out where are the coffee shops, where's there a bookstore, where there's some local places, and we try to hit those up. And I thought everybody did that. And then I will encounter people who will come in the store and they'll say, oh my gosh, we didn't know you were here. A friend told us, how long have you been here? And I'm like, almost 4 years. But we never come downtown.
Yeah.
And it doesn't occur to me that people don't go downtown.
Right.
Just because I'm not a mall person.
As the sprawl of Abilene continues southward too,
yes, and
most people think South 14th is downtown.
That's hilarious.
Somehow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's some great places on South 14th, so they should
Sure.
be supported as well. But I think as we've gotten more used to like the strip center or outdoor kind of shopping, we forget about the vibrancy of a downtown. And so I think the thing for me would just be greater awareness. And I had one person say, well, y'all should try marketing. And I'm like, we have been in every magazine. We've had a billboard. I've done TV interviews. We've done podcasts.
Yeah.
We have sponsored prizes for every event you can imagine. Like,
Right.
we've got thriving social media. Like,
The sheer amount of money you can spend trying to scream your name out of your business is astonishing.
and it's still not going to guarantee that it hits a certain population of people. So I'm always just saying the thing that I would love the most is for people to go visit their downtown.
Yeah.
See what there is. Got a great lemonade store across from me.
Yeah.
There's so many fun little things.
I have not been to the lemonade store.
need to
but
try
I
it.
do need to try it.
Oh.
I've heard great things.
Guava lemonade. It'll
Okay.
change your life.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll take the recommendation. What does success for what you're wanting to do in the next few years look like? I mean, you've obviously have made it past the surviving the first couple of years. You've obviously set yourself up into a way to kind of grow and really hit the market that you're after. What does it look like from here?
I think sustained relationships with our customers, new customers. I think more access to the larger book world. We have already we've been invited to participate in some advocacy stuff in DC through the American Booksellers Association, which I've been very thrilled to get to do. Cementing our place in the larger book world so that attracting authors is not as hard. Abilene is not convenient for authors who are on tours.
Sure.
And we get a lot, and I'm thankful for it. It takes a lot of work to get the ones we get. I would love that just to be a more natural part. Us have the sort of name recognition that a Fabled in Waco would have. And I think we're on the road to getting that. We had that telephone booth experiment. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yes, I did.
So we had that. That was a project that was meant to be a month, and it actually went 2 months. And our social media following went from 4,300 social media followers to right now we're at 19,000 something.
Really?
And a lot of those are not followers that are going to turn into return of investment of any kind because they're all over the country who are following the project.
Right.
But what that does is it brings us up in algorithms way more often. And when an author is looking at the bookstore and saying, do I want to stop in Abilene?
Sure. Yeah.
It's a credible thing.
It's a metric that matters.
Come and
for sure.
try.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
And so I think all of those things, just being more rooted in the larger book world, having our customers stay with us, continuing to provide excellent service with great booksellers. I think for me, when I'm too busy doing other things not to be handling their register transaction, when I'm too busy for that, then I know I've taken a misstep. Because it's a people thing for me.
I usually ask these last two questions of just about everybody, but what's something that you're excited about that's coming up?
We have, at the end of this month, in fact, there is a Christian author. She's a priest in Austin. Her name is Tish Warren, and she's got a couple of big name books, and she is going to be coming to the store.
Wow.
And then 2 nights later, we have what we're calling Fantasy Fest. So we've got Tish Warren, and then we're doing 180, whomp, like this. And we've got some spicy fantasy authors coming in. And Abigail Owen, who is a New York Times bestselling author.
Yeah.
And K.A. Lindy, who's New York, they all are, Sophie Jordan and Vella Roth. 4 of them are coming to do a major event that we're hosting at the Center for Contemporary Art because we can't fit them in the bookstore.
Wow.
So we have this 1 week at the end of June with these massive names, and I love bringing that to Abilene.
Yeah.
I had someone say that to me today. They were like, in what world did I think I'd see these people in Abilene? And I'm like, this world.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
So fun.
Yeah. And what is something that you are working on? It can be personal, it could be for business, something that you're actively working on.
One of the big things for me this year is a revamp of our website. We do not have an e-commerce site, and I don't intend to, because we have a page with an organization called bookshop.org, and they support local bookstores. So you can get on bookshop.org, choose 701 books, and they'll ship directly to you. And there's the same thing that's an alternative to Audible called Libro. You can get all your audiobooks through them, and they
Really?
choose our page and we get residual income. So those things are great on our website. And in fact, everything on the website is great. It just needs a refresh. It's been 4 years.
Yeah.
And this was the year. I was like, okay, I've got space this year to kind of get that caught up in so that I feel as good about that as I do about our other socials. So that's one big thing. And the other thing is I am working on figuring out how to function in a way that's a little more sustainable.
Yeah.
So that I don't hit the wall every December.
Sure.
Which is so far what's happened.
That's amazing. Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Where can people get in touch with you? Where can they find you?
So on Instagram, 7.1.books. Facebook, 701 Books. TikTok, 701 Bookstore. Or on North 2nd in Abilene. Awesome. Or come find our website and we'll ship to you.
Great. All right. Yeah. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks so much.